So it's just been leaked, rumored, confirms that we're going to be getting a co-op mode in Assassin's Creed Shadows. One character plays as Naue and the other player plays as Yasuke. I deliberately flip-flop between leak, confirmation, rumor, because it's coming from Insider Gaming. Now, Insider Gaming is a very reputable gaming outlet, and the specific journalist talking about this is Tom Henderson. He is a very reputable game journalist. When he says stuff, 99% of the time, it's usually true. But before we get into all of the Assassin's Creed Shadows co-op gameplay information, I think it's still important that we acknowledge that this is not directly come from Ubisoft, and so we should take it with a grain of salt. Is it probably true? Yeah, probably. Do we say it's 100% confirmed before we know? No. Assassin's Creed Shadows currently has a co-op mode in development which is scheduled to release post-launch. The new co-op game mode, codenamed League, is under development at Ubisoft but doesn't have a set release date due to the game's recent postponement, which is affecting the entire Assassin's Creed pipeline. However, sources tell me that League was in development long before the postponement and that this wasn't an addition because of the delay. While specific details on what the game mode actually entails are slim, presumably the co-op mode will see Naue and Yasuke fight side by side using their different combat abilities to take out enemies. That isn't the only multiplayer Assassin's Creed experience to hit players' hands within the next 18 months either. It's understood that Assassin's Creed Invictus, a fully fledged multiplayer experience, will come in 2025. And I recently made a video on how disastrous that idea sounds. The link to that is right there, and I'll leave it as an end card at the end of this video. Other Assassin's Creed games in development include an Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake under the codename Obsidian and codename Hexe, which has been described as the darkest Assassin's Creed to date. They're also calling Assassin's Creed Shadows the best Assassin's Creed game to date, so see that as what you will. Earlier this week, Insider Gaming reported on behind-the-scenes details on what happened with the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay. I also made a video on the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay and why it's actually smarter than you might think. Again, link up there. Or there. I think it's there. Right, I've got a bit of an Assassin's Creed game for you guys. Let's flip an Assassin's Creed coin. If it lands on Assassin logo, then the co-op is going to be the best thing we've ever seen in Assassin's Creed. If it lands on Eagle, it's going to be a disaster. So let's flip the coin. Yeah, I think we all thought that would be the case. So look, the first thing I want to say is put all the context of the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay aside, put everything you know about Ubisoft aside. This sounds amazing. On paper. Again, on paper, it sounds like Ubisoft are going to take what they had with co-op in Assassin's Creed Unity, as flawed as it was, and maybe refine it, make it better to the point where we can actually have a sustainable co-op mode in an Assassin's Creed game that will last for years and you can play with your friends and have a good time. Yeah, on paper, but reality isn't just in ink. Okay, now let's bring all the context of the Assassin's Creed Shadows back because, you know, we have to. Again, the idea of an Assassin's Creed co-op sounds promising and I like it. I think it's cool. Bring it. I would love to play Assassin's Creed Shadows with my friends. But here's where I feel a little bit like, let me push back a bit and try and talk objectively. When it comes to online sustainability of Ubisoft's games, they don't really seem to like it. Have a look at Assassin's Creed multiplayer in Brotherhood, Revelations 3 and Black Flag. Can you play them now? Well, you can kind of play AC3 and Black Flag's multiplayer, but the servers are a little bit hit and miss. I tried jumping into Assassin's Creed multiplayer not too long ago, and I was literally waiting to find a game for about an hour. I gave up, I turned the game off. Okay, that could just be due to the fact that these are old games now. People aren't interested in playing the multiplayer, so there just aren't enough people wanting to play it. But we all know that in 2016, the Ezio Collection was released for current gen at the time. Ubisoft completely got rid of all of the multiplayer in Brotherhood and Revelations, and what was left was just the single player experience. I guess Ubisoft didn't really deem the multiplayer that popular, that desired, and so left it out. But the thing is, what does that do for game preservation? Not much. It's really hard to play AC multiplayer, as I said. Now let's have a look at AC Unity. I don't actually have a physical case for that, so here's a picture. Again, at the time of release, the co-op mode was a big selling point. It was one of their marketing gimmicks, I guess you could say. Here's the thing, Unity released with so many bugs, it was completely unplayable for a lot of players. And if you want to talk about co-op mode, well, that's just adding more fuel to the buggy fire. Yeah, a lot of people were able to play with each other, but again, it was full of bugs, and trying to connect with your friends, it shouldn't have been as hard as it was. And you'd time out and you'd lose connection, and it it was a disaster. And if you look at Unity today, well, the co-op mode servers obviously don't have maintenance. They're kind of there, you can connect with players, but it takes a lot of workarounds, a lot of trying to connect, reconnecting, connection fails, and you go over and over. Eventually you might connect for 10 minutes, but it's not good. So when I hear more co-op in Assassin's Creed, of course I'm gonna look back at the past and think, well, how's this gonna work? Is this going to have any flaws, trials and tribulations to even be able to connect with your friends? And how is the co-op going to be supported through the years? Bear in mind the co-op will be coming post-launch, which does sound like a good thing. It means that maybe Ubisoft want to iron it out, make sure it's perfect before they release it. And again, I'm not going to fault them for that. If that's why, that's a good thing. But again, let's say the co-op releases and it's amazing. It works perfectly. 5 years down the line, is it going to work perfectly, or are they going to forget the servers, forget the game, and you can't really play it like it is with Assassin's Creed multiplayer and Assassin's Creed Unity? Now, I don't say this just to be a negative Nelly, as they say. I say this because hopefully people will listen and people will also speak about this, and then Ubisoft will listen and they'll make sure that these problems don't happen so we can have a good experience. The worst thing, or the last thing I want, is to have a really good experience with co-op and then for Ubisoft to just take that away from us a few years down the line when they don't keep maintenance on the servers, they don't keep the servers live, or they do but it works terribly and I can't connect. You know, then I have something great and it gets taken from me, and then it kind of makes me wish I never had the good thing in the first place, because then at least I wouldn't know how good it could be. With the information from Tom Henderson, there's not a ton. You know, we don't know everything. All we know that is it's in the works, it's scheduled to be coming post-release, and that presumably, only presumably, will play as Naoe and Yasuke side by side. Again, yeah, that makes sense, but again, it's presumably. Tom Henderson doesn't even know that. All he knows is that, look, this is an idea, this is something they're working on. It wasn't due to the delay that they're now working on it to try and bring players back. It was an idea from the start, and this is what they're doing. And I just want it to be good. You know, I understand that pretty much everything Ubisoft do at the moment is very much highly scrutinized, and that's for a reason. Ubisoft's now have a big track record for not delivering quality products. Look at Star Wars Outlaws. Go back and look at Unity. Look at AC Valhalla. It feels very much slapdash in a way, and yeah, you can still get a good experience from those games. But come on, Ubisoft are meant to be one of the leading publishers in the gaming industry, and they're releasing shoddy products that don't match some indie games or some AA games. Where's the continuity of quality content? Because Ubisoft can sometimes release absolute bangers. Look at Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It's widely regarded as a pretty decent game. There's not a ton of bugs, it's there in its experience of what it is, and it works. But then when it comes to these AAA games or quadruple A games, you know, Ubisoft seem to just try and rush these out the door. The quality is bad, we have bugs, the writing is usually not the best, and you're just left with what feels like a reskin version of the same game over and over. Can you tell me with confidence that Star Wars Outlaws isn't just another reskin version of Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Obviously there's different game systems, game mechanics, but as a whole, it's a very similar style of game. And that's fine if they're good, but when they have critiques that people keep giving and letting Ubisoft know, and Ubisoft don't work on their games to make them better, they're not listening. That leads me into the next point I want to talk about briefly. During the most recent investors call within Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, said that delivering a solid quality isn't enough for the gamers anymore. He thinks that gamers have extraordinary expectations that are hard to meet now. Like, what the fuck, bro? And the headline for this post is Ubisoft CEO blames gamers after poor sales of Star Wars Outlaws, and it's pretty much what he does, in my opinion. That just proves to me that Ubisoft don't really, or don't at all, depending on how you see it, take any criticism at all. Even if it's fair, constructive, and valuable, they ignore it. They keep doing what they keep doing because I guess they just want the games out the door. They just want the money. They're not really focused on the art of the game. But you can't keep making the same shoddy product over and over because you're gonna run into the issues that you've now run into. Ubisoft's games are underperforming because the quality of those said games are not on par with their competitors. They're constantly trying to make a Witcher 3-like experience, but they don't understand the heart, the substance, the foundation of what made The Witcher 3 great. That's an attention to detail, that's good writing. I could go on, but primarily, it's a passion for the art they make, and the money comes. Yeah, you'll have investors in the company. Yeah, you'll have the higher ups of the companies like CD Projekt Red that want to make a lot of money, but the developers have passion, and I don't think that creativity gets stifled like it likely seems to be doing in Ubisoft. You have to really look in the mirror and say, look, what am I making and why am I making it? First and foremost, you're making a piece of art, a piece of entertainment, and it's for someone else, for a consumer to experience and have a good time in. And if they enjoy their time there, they will then give you money. And that's why you make a good product, good quality content, because then you build trust with your consumers and they will keep giving you money. If you keep giving them a bad product, gamers are going to clock onto that and think, oh, actually, Ubisoft makes shit games. I'm not going to give them my money anymore. And you miss out. You've got to have a fine balance between the business side and the artful side, the respect for the consumer side. So look, bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to weigh in without making a completely different video about Ubisoft's recent quote. Will co-op in Assassin's Creed Shadows be decent? I hope so. Does it look hopeful? Not really. Would I be even surprised if Ubisoft end up announcing that they're going to cancel the co-op for Shadows if the game performs badly when it releases? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Cyberpunk 2077 did it with their multiplayer. They were gonna have a multiplayer, but that's never happening now. We'll see. We barely know anything. This is sort of information that isn't really meant to come out until a later date, so that's why it doesn't really have much substance. All it is again, a confirmed leaky rumor, juicy leaky rumor. I don't know, bro, whatever you want to call it. I love you guys. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to press the subscribe button so you don't miss a video from me and everything about Assassin's Creed Shadows and beyond. If you did enjoy this video, you can also press the like button. If you want custom Assassin's Creed emojis in the comments and to support me, you can drop 99 cents per month to become a channel member today. The link's in the description. And again, you'll get custom Assassin's Creed emojis just like this. For more of my opinions on Assassin's Creed and games in general, feel free to follow me on Twitter. Again, the links for everything are in the description. I feel like Ubisoft is kind of cooked at the moment, and look, it's nothing to do with Yasuke. I think he's a pretty cool character, so I don't want to hear no negativity about him in the comments. But look, Ubisoft are like rapidly losing vision. They have been for like 10 years at this point on what makes a good Assassin's Creed game or a good game in general. And you know, gamers, consumers, we're clocking onto it at this point, and you know, it's not looking good for them to say the least. All right, I'ma just head off.